Hi everyone, it's K-Red, and today let's do a Zentangle drawing. Now I have about 20 minutes that I can spend drawing today, and I thought it would be neat to set my timer for 20 minutes. Now my phone will time out, but I'll try to keep a timer going in the window of this video if I can in post-production, and see what I can draw on this tile in 20 minutes. Now this tile, let me see if I have the widths. I don't have the package for what this tile is. And this tile is, they're about 3.5 inch tile. And so I did my, just in the Zentangle method, I did my frame. Let's go ahead and do a scribble, which is called a string, so that we have something to draw in. And then let's go ahead and see where we go. So because my peaceful patterns happen to fall open on laced, let's go ahead and start there. And let's go ahead and put laced along here. So we're going to do the parallel lines. So I thought that it would just be fun to just kind of draw and chat together. These might be a little bit close, but let's see how it works out. And then we can just kind of see where we go, what we can do in 20 minutes. I'll be honest with you, since I've turned that timer on, I feel rushed. I feel like there's a need for me to go quickly. And I don't know that that is the very best way to do a drawing. But I've never kind of set a timeline on it for me before. I know I have, when I Google online how to draw and stuff like that, that some people have recommended it, so I thought it'd be kind of fun to give it a try. But we'll see. We'll see if it ends up being something I enjoy doing, where I could do this again. But I think I'm pretty excited at the opportunity to just sit and draw and chat. So in the Zentangle method, now if you're new, welcome, or if maybe you've been with me for a bit but didn't kind of get my intro, let me introduce who I am. I am K-Red, and I am a negotiator. That's my job. So sometimes it's, stressful and anxiety-ridden. I've been doing it for about 14 years now. Been doing it for about 14 years. Stop the story for 1 second, decide where to go next. Let's go ahead and go here next. And let's do an outline of this shape to be like this. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to go in just a little bit on each line until I get to the middle. So as I mentioned, about 14 years ago, when I first started with my job, I needed a way to relieve stress when I came home, right? I needed a way to be able to have time to process my day and kind of relieve the stress of the moment. I like that. I'm not real happy with this, so I wonder if I just add a cheat line there, if that will help. And I think it'll help good enough for me. So drawing this way is not the way to tell a story, though, because I keep interrupting myself. So let's look through here real quick what we can throw in, what would be fun to do. Something along these lines. Oops, I lost it. This one. What's this called? I always forget what this is called. Cadent. That's right. So let's go ahead and we'll do cadent. We'll do it right across this big area here, because I think it always looks best with that. Not the Zentangle method, but the K-Red method. I'm going to give myself some lines. And the reason I like to have some lines is I like things to look straight. I like to feel like I am giving myself every opportunity to succeed. And because I know I am sometimes hypercritical of myself and of my drawings, that I am best off if I can give myself just a little help. And I have no regrets doing that, even if pulling out a ruler is about as anti-Zentangle as you can get. So whereas I'm wanting to make a Zentangle-ish thing, then there are no mistakes and no perfection needed in Zentangling. I, however, found that this is how I can enjoy my art. So now I just have these little squares, and I can work off my squares for there. And I'm going to start by doing my circles. So anyway, I came across Zentangling. Now I am about as unartistic naturally as you can be. My mind leans a little bit towards the analytical and not towards the creative. I don't necessarily see patterns the way some other people do, or be able to translate that, what I see in my mind, into my hand. So when I came across Zentangling, I found great relief and a great opportunity to draw something I had never. I'm going to ignore that line. I'd rather just be the whole square. I would really, really appreciate being able to draw. And because there are step outs, and because people before me have shown me how to make these shapes, I'm able to do that. So I started drawing, and I fell in love with Zentangling and with doodling, and how there's no rules and it doesn't have to look like anything, and that other people did the hard work of creating these shapes and creating these designs and breaking it down into a way that was very understandable to me, and I am forever grateful to them. And so that is what I do. I sit down, I call it my pen and paper therapy, and I just give myself the opportunity to breathe, to learn something new, to try something that maybe isn't natural to me. I started this YouTube page about a year or so ago for friends or family or people who, like me, maybe don't feel like we have a place in the artistic world. Now, I've come to believe that that's probably not true, that we do have a place, but I didn't feel like I did, and I didn't feel like I could create, and that I could make something beautiful. And so Zentangling gave me permission to do that, to be in that world, and to get to Zentangle, and I am forever grateful for that. I am not a CZT. I'm not trained. I don't represent Zentangling. To be honest, I probably would be, but it is cost prohibitive for me. I just don't have the funds to do something like that right now, but that's okay. I will, like I said, just have respect and appreciation for the many people. I'm going to come all the way up to here, so I'm trying to decide what I want to do. Let's go ahead and continue these up. There we go. So what do you think? Cating in there? That looks kind of neat, right? I like it anyway. So then we got a little tiny one here. We got these along the outside. Let's do a time check. Oh, about halfway through my time, so I'm probably going to need to pick it up a little bit more. I'm not real sure what else I want to do. So when you're not sure what to do, I usually fall back and do my favorites. So one of my favorites we'll do right down here is with 3 lines like this, and then 3 lines like that. Like all these little rainbows. Now if I had time at the end, I could probably color them in. If I wanted to. I can put designs in each one or lines in each one. I would have a lot of options. We'll see where time leaves me. Leave me a comment if you've ever done like a little 20-minute challenge or a 30-minute challenge, and see what you drew in that time, or how it made you feel. I won't lie, I'm feeling a little stressed. Isn't that funny? Having that timer on me. Now I have sat down many times and done little drawings on this size paper in 20 minutes with no issue. So that's why I thought that I would be able to, but somehow I think just not knowing for sure or having that time on me is making that a little harder. So in this corner, let's do one that's a little bit different. Let's do lines. We'll do 3 again, and then we'll do 3 this way, and then we'll do 3 that way. And I'm just randomly, however I feel, adding in some lines. I probably should have done them a little slower, but that's okay. If we get a chance, or when we get a chance to shade, we'll do some shading on those, and it'll be kind of fun. So we have some lines, we have some circles. What else can we do? Let's do poke. I think they're called poke. I usually call them pokey. Let's just do some of those. What do you think? This is a nice big area. And I always think these are cute. They were a peaceful pattern that we did, and we did a whole bunch of different variations on them, but today, let's just do a basic one. And I do like them to go kind of every which way but loose, right? All kinds of variations into how they are from there. Now, because I've done so many straight up from here, let's see how this will look. I may be ruining it, but I really don't want there to be an up or a down. I really want to have the opportunity that no matter which way you look at this tangle, at this paper, it could go that way. So I am turning my card and doing my pokey or poke root in all different shapes. There we go. It turned out kind of cute. It's that a little baby one. I like. What do you think? Now I wonder if, I think so, I should probably bring this laced pattern all the way over. Go all the way down. Make those lines a little bit bigger, but I think it'll work. You never have enough, right? Okay, maybe you can. I should stop. Alrighty, so now we have the center. I have no idea what to do in the center. Oh, let's do some sand swirl. It's been one of my favorites. So to do sand swirl, we're just going to do some random 9s and some random P's, whatever shape you want to call it. I like them again going all directions. And then what we do, so my head won't be in the way because I'm getting close for this, is we do a nice oar around them. And I think what I'm going to do is maybe 3 oars around all of them, and then decide how to fill them in. breathing. If you end up having things spaced a little bit farther than you would have liked, you can always cheat and just add another little line there. Let's go ahead and let this one fill in the bottom. Or I'm sorry, not the bottom. Let this one fill in the middle. So, let's see, where was I in my story? I think I told you about why I do this and how I started. And that's it. And so I appreciate all of you who have found me one way or the other. I appreciate all the comments I've gotten about how you use Zentangling and what Zentangling does for you. That has really encouraged me to know that I'm not the only person who isn't a true artist. And look, I'm not being down on myself by saying I'm not an artist. We all have things that we do well or that we do naturally, right? But that doesn't mean if you don't work at something, you can't do it better, right? So I am better at this than I was when I first started. And hopefully in 10 years, I'll look back at some of these and think, my goodness, I'm so much better now than I was. I think I'm going to go ahead and get myself a border. I'm so much better now than I was 10 years ago, right? So it's about the journey. It's about the progress. It's about the improvement. It's about learning. And I think all of that is fun. So hopefully as we do some shading between this and the one next to them, they've definitely blurred together, both being so dark and intense. Having those two next to each other may not have been the best idea. So on this one, let's do this. Let's fill it in. One of the things I always like to do on these is fill in with some circles. And I like them to be different shapes. So the easiest way for me to make sure that I have different shapes in there is to draw some first and then add some around it. Now I wish I was doing this slower because my circles are sometimes oblongs and sometimes they don't actually close. And this would probably be a better project if they did. Ooh, that one was particularly off. So we'll call them orbs instead of circles, because then they could be any shape, right? Let's go ahead and do a couple more up here so that it can help us bring it right up to that lace. Kind of like how I have that open line. So now I'm down to one area. Where's my time? Oh, 5 minutes left, so we're doing okay. Let's see what we do here. So what if on that line, we do this. This is one of my favorite. I don't think it's actually a doodle, but it might be, and I just don't know who to credit. But basically, it's a line with 2 short lines followed by 1 long line. I use it as a divider quite often. It's one of my favorites. So then now once we have that divider on there, on each of these long ones, let's put a circle. And then on each of these circles, let's add some little, brackets. And then let's add another circle. Notice I'm not adding them on the end so that we definitely get into a middle. And then I'm trying to decide now, do I want to do another line and some more dots? I think I do. So then we're going to do another line. I'm going to do some more dots. And then we'll put circles on the top. And there we go. That's my drawing. What do you think? That's what I was able to accomplish in... Oh, I only got... My timer's done, so I'm out of time. So in 20 minutes, I got my drawing done. thought I still had 5 minutes left. Oh, thank you, timer. I thought I had 5 minutes left, but I don't. So that's it. But I'm still going to shade it. So we're going to pass the 20 minutes just so that I can shade. So we're going to start by deciding what goes on top and what goes on the bottom. Whatever is on the bottom is going to get some shading. So I would like this center. Oops. Did you catch my mistake? Do you know what I did wrong? I started to shade in my excitement without erasing my cheat lines, my anti-Zentangle, very wrong cheat lines. Sometimes when you do away with those lines, you realize, like right there, I needed one more line, and right here, I need one more line. Maybe one even there. Do you see any others that could use one? I think that's it. Okay, so now back to the shading. So we'll put a little bit more down here since I erased some of it. I'd like it over here. I had to decide which one of these is up and which one's down. So I'm going to put quite a bit in here and try to sink that in. And then I'm going to put in the middle of each of these. Don't know if that's a mistake. We will see. So for these guys, I think what I'm just going to do is have a shading all the way around it and bring it all into the middle. So let's do those and see where we end up. So I have a tortillon or a blending stick, or I'm not exactly sure all the right phrases. The pencil that I used for my shading was a 6B. This Dandler brand I love. I bought like a little pack of them. If I remember, I will add a link. If I forget, remind me in the comments. I really like them. The nice thing about shading is if I do this like I am right now and think, gosh, I'm not sure I like it, being all on the outside of all of them, I may want that to be more personalized. I can just go in and erase it. I can go in and decide if that's what I end up liking. We can decide if, and what I'm doing is spreading the circle and then going out once or twice along the outside. Just kind of make that all blend together. So we'll get out one of my favorite tools, which is my mono eraser. Let's find it. Oops, a little bit of fuzzles at the end. And clean it up just a little bit so that I make sure that I have plenty of clean in there as well. Let's go ahead and do just the dot in the middle, or white. Let's see how that looks. Once again, because I'm not an artist, I don't always understand how what I do is going to affect how it looks. So I just have to see how that works. I like that. Let's we don't like that much at all. So let's go ahead and take out a bunch of it. That maybe my problem is that it was just too much. So let's go ahead and lightly dab it so I can take off a bunch of it. And then let's go back in and smooth it out. Let's see if that helps. Looking for a clean spot on my eraser so I don't have to take time to clean it. So tell me, do you shade and then erase too, or is that just me? It may be just me. Okay. We have that. I'm going to put a shade on my dotted lines. So here's what I do. Don't know if it's always right, but I have one of these little, they came with one of my pencil kits, my tortillons, I think, sandpaper, and I'll put a whole bunch of that on there, and then I'll just take some of it on my tortillon. Let's see if I can do all the way around the outside of the card. all the way around that outside string. Now you don't have to erase your outside string. Most of the time I do not. Most of the time I just leave that as part of the design and just use it with the shading out. So the whole outside edge is shaded. Let's do some shading on each of these lines. I am definitely a work in progress when it comes to shading. On some of these bigger ones, I'm going to put just a dash on them. I'm going to come back in with my mono eraser and see what this would look like. I think it actually might look out well. So let's do this real quick. Oh, that's a little too dark. Let's spread this out a little bit smoother. Let me get a clean tortilla. Let's spread this out just a little bit darker so that the whole back end is darkened. We're going to pick up a little bit from here, but what I'm going to do is come back in and erase everything that is on that poke, or pokey as I say. Sounds wrong when I call it that, so I call it a pokey. But and then that way the shading is behind the design. Darkest on the edge, lightest towards the middle, but the actual design is not caught up in the shade. Now I could have been more careful with my shading and have only made sure that it goes, let me grab my clean one, behind it, like I am right now. Probably would have been the way to go, but I didn't know I would like it when it was all shaded in. I thought I would like that, and I don't. So that I do like better. What do you think? What would you do? How would you do it different? Leave me a comment. Please like and subscribe my channel. I can add more into each of these. I'm going to do that Bacini way too. We're going to go all the way across it so it's all shaded. Then we're going to come back in with the eraser and take out the middle. And what taking out that middle is going to do is give me a highlight in the center of each one. So I have that bit of light. All right, we're going to leave it there. There's a whole lot I want to do, but we're going to leave it there. I believe Zentangle always has you sign it or with an initial. Never quite figured out what that should be on mine, so I'll just go ahead and sign it K-Red. And I'm thankful. So thankful that you all are here. Thankful that you clicked on my video. Please like and subscribe. Let me know what you're going through in my more than 20-minute Zentangle doodle today, and I hope you're having a good one. We'll see you soon. Bye-bye. Hi. So this is Kathy from the future. When I came back and I was looking at this tile, I decided that I really liked it. And I wanted to put it up on my little display thing that I have by my desk that I give myself inspiration, but I wanted to do just a couple touch-ups. So I came back in, I did a couple of lines darker, I did a little bit of a better job erasing on a certain spots, and that is what I've done. So over is never really over. You can always come back days, weeks, years later, touch up and create something completely different or just tweak it a little bit. So wanted to show you how I tweaked it, wanted to show you what I decided to do, and that I ended up really liking it. When I walked away from it, it wasn't something that I particularly enjoyed, but as I got away and I stepped back and I came back a few days later to look at it, I thought, you know what, I want that by my desk. So I decided to spend just a little bit more time, probably only like maybe 5 or 10 more minutes. I didn't spend a lot of time on it, but I spent just a few more minutes to come in, clean it up a little bit better, a little bit more with the eraser, gave myself a little bit better of a defined line around those. This is the part I'm not particularly happy with still, but that's okay. Nobody said we had to be happy, right? Nobody said that we would love every one of our drawings or that any one of our doodles would ever have all the aspects of it the way we liked. So I'm going to appreciate it for what it is, for what I have. I like what I did, and I like that I did a little 20-minute challenge, and I like that I came back afterwards. So probably be seeing more of these. Thank you again, and we'll see you next week.